Hello and welcome to a new episode of the new format of BIMvoice. Today my guest is Ole Peter Jetmundsen, who is a consultant for Dalux in Denmark. Welcome, Ole Peter.
Thank you, Petru. I think it is really an honor to be able to attend this podcast, or is it a podcast when it's on video? I'm not sure what to call it.
Videocast? I think it's a
Video
videocast.
cast.
Yeah.
All right. So I really have to say I also mentioned this for you before the video cast. I'm really impressed with what you've been able to accomplish here with BIMvoice, and also with all the people that you've been able to bring into it. I think it's really interesting how you've gotten so many people that are so good at BIM.
Thank you very much.
To it.
Thank you very much. That's really flattering. It was an honor for me as well to have all these people with so much experience sharing it with me and with us. And now we are doing this with you. Can we start by telling us a little bit who are you and what are you doing and what are we going to do today?
Yeah. So my name is Ole Peter Jetmundsen, as you mentioned, Petru, and I am working as a consultant or a customer success manager at Dalux, and we are obviously a BIM software. We're going to talk today about the digital journey of the customers of Dalux and how they digitally transform with Dalux. That is going to be our that's what I have to offer today.
Okay, that sounds very, very interesting and very exciting. So let's just dive in. Please share your screen and show me what you got.
I will. So as I mentioned, I'm really honored to be here, and I'm really honored to be able to also talk about the operationalizing BIM with Dalux in BIMvoice, and to be able to tell you about what digitally transforming a company is, we have to start out with a problem. So the problem is, in our case, or in many cases, for people that are out on sites or working with construction or architecture, but also engineers that are checking things on site. The problem is that they have a checklist. So they fill out the checklist and then they go to the site office afterwards and scan the checklist, and then there's a lot of manual typing to transfer the information in this checklist over to maybe an Excel sheet, and then they send an email, and then what is the checklist that was actually filled out, and what is the checklist that was sent. That might be an issue because you have duplicates of these checklists, and then they grow into maybe 3 or 4 duplicates of each checklist. And that's not a problem in itself. But when you have 20,000 checklists for your project, you start getting a problem. I guess you know a little bit about this as well, Petru.
Yeah, well, I don't know what to say. I really like that stack of papers right there. That looks very, very easy to handle.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
joking,
true.
of course. I'm joking.
So the problem here is obviously that a lot of time is spent on moving checklists around and putting it in different direction, making sure that the checklists have the right numbers and contain the right information, and that there are no duplicates, and so on and so on and so on. There's always new things that adds to this this paper stack, right? And then there's a new type of checklist, and those things are hard to keep track of. And this is, of course, just one example of how time spent on site can be reduced by doing the tasks that or making the tasks that are not the most fun tasks easier to handle. And as a solution to this problem, this is the timeline for a digital transformation. So the digital transformation starts out with someone digitizing the checklist. So that's actually what I mentioned in the example. You take the PDF and you make it, or not the PDF, you take the paper checklist and make that digital. But there are still problems with a PDF checklist, because if you want to change a field, you have to start over with a new document. And if you want to change some information in it, there are just some limits to the file format, PDF, that makes it hard to work with. And that takes us to the next step, and this is where we're starting to get into the Dalux world of things. This is when you're making this checklist interactive. And a checklist that is interactive means that, for example, you add information such as the BIM data. You can also add information such as who is already signing the checklist, and what kind of checklist is this, the metadata to the checklist. So so the data about this checklist, and this is the first step towards being digitally, or the second step towards being digitally transformed, which means that you're now being able to sort the checklists in a sort of way that doesn't mean that you have to sit there and make sure that it's in the right folder, but it all goes automatically online. And then comes the third step, which is to digitally transform. And this is, of course, the goal with the checklist, or with actually pretty much all the workflows that we're involved in Dalux. It is to be able to change the way that you work into a smarter way. So instead of spending a lot of time on signing papers, for example, you change that workflow, and you say that, well, because the signature is already implicit in the way that the checklist is created, you don't need to have a manual signature on it. And because the BIM data already states that when I'm putting this checklist onto a door within the BIM model, it already knows the height and the width and the size of the door in general. It also knows the fire category of the door, and all this information you can automatically get into the checklist. So that is just the digital transformation that we're trying to achieve in Dalux.
That sounds very good. The way we work today, mostly, it's outdated, not efficient, and it has many challenges, from transparency to lack of cooperation, and to work without involving other parts. So yes, this would be a first step to get rid of that paper. And by the way, if you cannot get rid of it, you can send it to me, because I have minus 10 degrees today and I can burn everything today. Yeah.
That sounds good. But I don't think that's going to help our our construction sites if you burn their information.
Yeah, sure. The thing is, I want to make a mention here, so everybody knows what they are in for this. So you must understand that I invited Ole Petter to be my guest and to present this tool, because I believe that it helps our industry to become more digitized. I'm not sponsored for this, so I do this purely for intent, and because I really believe it can have a important impact in the industry. I think it's important to mention this, so people don't think that this is something directed already and with an agenda. Yeah. So now, can you please show me what that guy has in with those stars right there. What is that?
Absolutely. So so it is the stars or the little Dalux sign that we're seeing up there is either this, the cell phone that he is holding in his hand, showing him the BIM model out on site. Because from this BIM model, he can then directly connect, as I mentioned earlier, he can directly connect his checklists. He can connect his issues. So if there are issues out on site, deviations, you can also make plans. So inspection plans and test plans out on site that will give you a report afterwards, giving you the information that is you can in real time actually follow how far is your quality assurance on site, because BIM is part of your quality assurance. If we're talking about as-built models, for example, that is the quality assurance in a sense to what has actually been built out on site.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you can see it through augmented reality. So with Dalux, we have the twin BIM function that shows the building, obviously through your camera, and you can also put the BIM model on top of that, showing how things are going to look when the construction is finished.
That is very interesting. Actually, I did not know that you have this feature before we last time talked. So I'm wondering, how do you use this? How do you anchor it? How do you geolocate it? Do you need some devices, GPS or GNSS devices, to use it for precision, or do you anchor it in a way to the model, on top of the model? Do you know what can you tell me about this?
As I also mentioned before our
Yeah.
talk today, I honestly don't. I am not an expert on how the functions work back end and how things are located. But
Yeah.
what I can tell you is that I open my phone, I press my Dalux symbol, so going into the app, and I go into to the AR function, and then I will have to align the room in order to see the model.
Oh yeah, exactly this. Exactly this. How do you align the space you are in? This is actually can you align it on place, so you can align it to a wall or a floor or something that is going to overlap perfectly or over the existing building, or
Yeah, so you align it with the corners of the room that you're
uh,
in.
yeah,
So yeah,
I understand.
and obviously to be able to do this, you will have to learn how to use Dalux before. I mean, it is not very complicated. It's actually quite easy to open the AR function, but
Mhm.
it does require that as we've talked about a little bit earlier, that we are part of this digital transformation, that the journey that I mentioned earlier.
Mhm. Yeah, no. Then you answered to my question, because actually you don't need a geolocation device or GNSS or GPS, because you align it to an existing object or an existing space. So this how it is working. I'm asking this because I like tools like Site Vision or VGIS. Like they need geolocation. They use geolocation, and yeah, you can bookmark. I don't know exactly how precisely can you do it, but yeah, they depend on the GIS, on how the geolocation is provided in real time, you know. So this is not something delivered in real time. It's something that you anchor to a existing local system, right? So yeah, uh, if I understood correctly.
Yeah, that I think is more or less understood correctly.
Okay.
So to go back to what we previously talked about, this part of getting into the digital transformation, so
Mm-hmm.
getting ready to be able to use a tool like this, because I think you must also know this, Petru. because I know that you're an experienced man within construction, and you must have seen a lot of tools being used through the years.
Yes.
Have you not also seen issues when it comes to getting other people to use it?
what what are you trying to get me into here? Yeah, of course. Not everybody has the same willingness or availability to learn and update itself, herself or himself with new tools. And no, it's a challenge, and it should not be actually. I think in a way I am this kind of engineer that I'm more specialized in tools than actually in civil engineering work, which is not I'm not very happy actually about, but in a very big way, there is just the nature of the job. Like there are jobs that where you do 99% of the time you need to work with a tool like AutoCAD or Revit or Tekla Structures, right? So and of course, like for everybody, even if you work with a tool and you are open-minded to learn other tools, right? If you work 10 years with a tool, it's going to be difficult to jump to something else. But at the same time, I think this becomes the new norm in our industry. Like you really need to be more willing and to learn more tools, because now there is not only like before the deliveries were very clear. Yeah, you deliver paper and that's it. No, now you need to use a common data environment. You need to use a program that like Dalux that can transform 3D model into drawings or for other purpose, right? So it becomes more and more prevalent that we as parts in a AAC should be more willing and learn more inclined to learn new tools. Yeah.
I think you are right, especially in the part where you say that as an engineer today, you're more likely to use a tool that is no, you're more likely to know a lot of tools than to actually know all the calculations, for example, that are to be used for a building. But that is also part of what. So especially for engineers, I'm thinking that they are often so good at learning new tools, so that these transformations that we're talking about, they are often much easier for them. When it comes to construction companies, those this kind of transformations are often a little bit harder, because there are a lot of people working on the construction site who don't have a they don't have an everyday with a lot of tools,
Precisely.
and that is often so. So when we're starting this customer journey that it's called within Dalux, it is very important that you find someone in the beginning of that process that is internally responsible for that for the tool. So we need someone inside the company that says, okay, we're going to take the responsibility and make sure that this is our tool. This is the one that we're going to use. And it also makes sense for both for the person themselves, whether it's a woman or a man, doesn't matter. And it doesn't also matter if it's the CEO or if it's a person that is on a project level. But it's important that there is one person that takes this responsibility. And then it's important also to figure out who needs to know what, because as you say, you do know a lot of things because that fits into the work that you're working with, right? You know how to use Tekla, for example, or you know how to use Revit, because that fits into your world. So if you're, for example, if you're a bricklayer, then you would know how to build a wall with bricks, and you would also know how to of course place the bricks on top of each other without spilling too much mortar everywhere. but that doesn't mean that it's easy for you to start up with a new tool. That actually means that that is a whole new world for you, and also that what you need from a whether it's a quality assurance tool or it's a CDE, as you mentioned, what you need is that one, it's simple to use, and two, that you can quickly get accurate information. So that you're able to quickly go in, take a picture, connect it to the BIM model, and then it is done. And then all the information that is about whether it's for this contract or that contract, that is also already implicit because that information is already based in the project.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So trying to map these different roles within the company is definitely important before you start or before you head out onto your journey. And that's when we get involved. So people have to think a little bit about what they're going to use the tool for before they get us involved in the actual, or when I say us, I mean the customer success management team, because our whole point is to help the customer, of course, to get better, because it is the only way that the customer can benefit from our tool is by using it. And that's I guess it's the same with any tool.
Yeah, it's difficult to learn something just theoretically. It's even if you think you understand things, like when you try to apply them, it's a different story. It's there when you start building your experience with the specific tool.
Yeah, absolutely. And just like with your I'm guessing also with the BIM podcast, it's a video cast.
It's fine. You can call it whatever you want.
That takes us to the next step, because as you did start small and you have scaled up already. I mean, it's already as I mentioned earlier, it's already impressive how
That's nice to
you've
hear.
gotten here.
That's nice to
And
hear. Yeah, thank you. I don't think I scaled so much actually, but like from the when you think about the how big is the channel or my platform, but I grew exponentially as a person doing this. So yes, depends how you look at things. And like I said, my goal is if I at the end of the day I helped one person to learn something after all the effort I put in to put this on YouTube and on different podcast platforms, I'm happy. I will sleep happy that night.
And I absolutely agree with you. The most important is if you just teach one person something and they feel that they get the benefit from it, then you've at least changed their world. And
Yeah.
and also, but my point being with starting small is that that's how you have to do it also with Dalux, because some companies contact us and say, well, we want to roll this out over our whole organization. We have 4,500 employees and they're going to use it tomorrow. And then we have to say, take it easy. You're going to get there, but not today, okay? Let's start with a project, maybe 2 or 3, and then we can take it from there. Because if you go start out up here, then it's also going to be hard to make sure that everybody understands what's going on.
It's going to be a lot of disappointment overall. Like
Yeah,
the entire
exactly.
experience is going to be a lot of disappointment. That's it. I know how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So because it is, if we go back to the first step, if no one has taken control and you start up here, then I mean, it's almost impossible to tie the ends together after a while.
Yeah, you just cannot become efficient overnight. That takes time, and it goes gradually, right? So, you'll burn out a lot of money and hours if you do that, of course. And
Yeah,
because you have different people, like it's a process. Like understanding BIM and implementing BIM in your organization is in your projects. You cannot do it overnight. It takes time. You need to find the right people in the start, and after that, when you get to the critical mass, then it's going to become easier for everybody to get involved. But in the start, you need to start with the champions.
exactly. And that brings us actually to what we have decided to call the super users. So the super users are, I think it sounds a little bit more fun to be a super user than to be a champion, but it depends whether you're into sport or you're into superheroes, I guess. So the super users are crucial, of course, to make sure that people within your organization or within the project understands what the whole tool is about, what the point of using this tool is all about, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's Revit, like we talked about earlier, or it's Trimble, or it is Tekla, if people don't understand what the point of the tool is, then you might as well draw it on a paper, and this is what the super user is there to help them with. And I think that my personal opinion is that it is a privilege to be able to be that super user, because it puts you in such a strong position within the organization. The whole organization becomes they become reliant on you for how to use the tool and how to function within the organization.
To succeed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
definitely.
to succeed, actually. And so when the super user is there, you also have to find a way to encourage people, to encourage the usage of the tool. So of Dalux in this case, if you want people to use Dalux, it's not just to say to them, here, take this app and go out and have fun. You have to encourage it. You have to mention it many times that it would be better if you sent me this checklist on the app, because then I don't have to sit here and scan it and then put it into the server later on. And there are many ways to do it. I heard of one company yesterday, actually, that they make this lottery out of all the people that are reporting deviations and issues, and then they give out tools from their suppliers. The suppliers come in with tools, and then out of this they have a lottery, and so that encourages the use. Obviously, it's not the only way to do it. There are many other ways, of course. It's just an example of how you can encourage that way of using your tool.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting approach, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I thought it was very interesting, and I think it's cool. And it was not at all my idea, but I thought that it was a really neat way to get the workers out on site to use it.
Yeah, definitely.
And the last step is of course connected to this part about the tool. That is to share the stories, because there are going to be success stories, and it's important to share them within the organization, to make sure that people can see what the benefit is. And of course, all these steps that I've talked about here are connected together, but this step is very important to make sure that people understand that it's not only there for management, but it's also there for your own sake. It helps you do your things easier and quicker, and that is what digital transformation is all about.
Yes, I cannot argue with that.
That's good. So I also have this screenshot here from our website, and it shows, of course, a BIM model that is connected to a point cloud. And once again, this is about what I mentioned earlier, the as-built ability that you can use Dalux for, that you can show how things were planned compared to how things ended up being. And that is always an interesting, I think it's an interesting thing to look at.
Yeah, it's a vital one.
But also that you can also, of course, follow it in the process of the works, right?
Yeah, of course. It would not be the best idea to just wait until the project is finished and start checking.
No.
It's going to be difficult to make some changes, let's say.
Yeah. So always following up through the model, always being able to look at it and check out how things are going. That is crucial. And having, but of course, it is in order to have the ability or to be able to check your model. You will have to have a model. You will have to have a platform, and you will also have to have a model that is designed to the point where you can use it out on site.
Yeah.
And that's what we rely on people like you, Petru, and other designers and advisors on doing.
And there is other thing as well. Like, it's not only important, like this is happening already. I guess no client is just checking at the end. I'm talking about big public clients, right? They definitely have project leaders that are following up the works. But then you have another level to this. How good is the documentation or the information you have access to, and how easily understandable it is, so you make sure that you don't oversee an error or something. So that's something else. Like, what I'm trying to say, like, it's much easier to not see something on a drawing, just to miss a line or something, a small detail, right? Because we have so many details on drawings, on paper or in PDF, right? Compared to when you have the possibility to see the drawing itself, but to see also how it looks in 3D. Like, that is cannot be understated enough. Like, it's really, really crucial.
Yeah, I absolutely agree, and I think that also giving the two perspectives, so you're able to see things in a plan or on a detail that is a 2D detail, but also being able to turn it around and see how it looks from the other side. That is, I think that it helps us become better as construction professionals as well.
Yeah, and that at the end, that the project will be better. The client will be better. We'll save more money. We'll have better documentation. We'll have better quality of information. So and everything will try to focus to deliver value, not just bill hours.
Yeah. Exactly. So that is true. And I think that is what we're trying to get at. And if we're looking at this value, I'm just going to take the 3 takeaways that you can take from what I would like to bring out there as a customer success manager and as a professional looking to support the construction industry with software. I think that what is crucial is, of course, to have someone to take ownership of the process. As I mentioned before, that there is someone within the company that says, okay, we're going to do this and we're going to do it this way. And then again, as I mentioned, find success stories fast. Be able to share those success stories and find them as quickly as possible. Make sure that the people that have been have managed to do to use Dalux in a good way, that they get that information out to the whole company so everybody can see it. And lastly, and also very important aspect to this is that you have to have respect for the process, because nothing is done overnight. You simply cannot implement a software overnight. It has to be done as part of a change within your organization, actually. And I'm going to quote my CEO on that, because when I was interviewed for my current position, he said to me that we're not just selling software, we're changing organization.
Yeah,
And
that sounds
that
very
is I think that
inspiring.
is it has been very inspiring to me, at least. Yeah.
It is. So where do we go from here? Do you have any more slides?
So this was what I had to present today. So if there are any questions, please.
Yeah, let's see. Feel free to write some questions in Twitch. But before, if somebody is writing any questions here, so what does tell me a little bit more about the platform. So what can you tell me? Who can this be for? Who can use this platform for? And for what exactly?
Yeah, so Dalux is for both AEC, so architectural, engineering, and construction companies, and for facility management companies. We have two main products with the core of the BIM model. The one product is called Dalux Build, and that includes CDs, quality assurance. We have a handover module for handing over the material from the construction phase, and also a tender module. And on top of that, we have an FM product, which is for the facility management, and there you can keep control of all your current buildings and assets.
Yeah. What kind of customers do you have, if I may ask?
So that is a good question. We have a really wide range of customers, but in particular in Norway, I think we're mostly known among the larger contractors. So I think out of the top 5 contractors in Norway, we're used at least with 4 of them, and we also have big clients such as Statsbygg, that is this public Norwegian public client.
Yeah, the governmental body for buildings in Norway.
Yeah.
Norwegian Public Administration for Buildings.
Yeah, so they have us. They're using us on the facility management side. Yeah.
Yeah, but is this for? Can this be used for designers as well?
Yeah. So our CDE is based both on designers and on construction sites. So that means that you can do comments on the drawings, and you can import and export BCFs directly from our online service. And that also makes it possible to communicate within the platform. That is a very important point here, that it's not Dalux is not a platform that is for one person only. Dalux is a platform that is supposed to be shared. So we do it. We have our point is to communicate with each other, both in the design phase and in the construction phase or execution phase.
Do you have an integration for other issue management platforms like BIMtrack or BIM Collab? Can you connect these tools to Dalux?
No, we don't integrate with other platforms like that, but we do have we do have our own
issue management
issue
system inside.
management system. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. What about we talked about AR. What about VR? Do you have any VR support, or are there any plans for this?
Actually, that I think the whole reason for us choosing AR is that the issue with VR is that you have to have your VR glasses on.
Yeah.
And they don't really fit very well with a helmet on top. So,
Yeah.
so
Especially
when
on
you're
a
out on
building
site,
site.
you have to choose if you want to look at VR or you want to have a hard top on. That's why we have chosen to go in the direction of AR instead.
That's good. Yeah, no, but I'm thinking maybe there are some applications, some cases where you could use VR, not on the site, but I don't know. I just thought it might be because since now almost all tools try to build on AR and VR, I was curious if it has support for this. But if this is something that you can share, uh, is it mostly contractors or clients that you have as customers, or what kind of what is most prevalent? What are the heaviest part of your customers?
I honestly don't know. I mean, I talk a lot with contractors, and but I also do talk with some clients and some consultants.
Mhm.
I think it is a little bit. It depends on which country you're in. So in Norway, there are, I think, primarily contractors, but we also do have. I mean, we have a wide range of customers that are, some of them also not professional in construction. They professionalize in other things, but they have
Mhm.
assets that will need them to have a platform for construction.
Mhm. I see. Um, how how difficult is this to be tried by like? Do you have any recommendations for anybody who wants to learn more about Dalux? Like, is this available for any country, or yeah?
Yeah, so we're available in most countries, and we have in European countries we have I think we have 16 different languages on our platform, so you can have it in your own in your own language if you're from Europe. But we yeah, but I think the best thing to do, no matter what, is to contact us either by writing us an email or calling the local support number, and then you'll get an introduction and also a free trial of Dalux. Yeah.
What is that? For how long is the free trial?
So the free trial is usually for 14 days, meaning that you get to try out some of the functionality, you get to upload your model. Um, it is in many cases a good idea to have a model, if not the model that you want to use for this project, but just maybe a previous model or something that you've used before. And when I'm talking about a model, I of course mean a BIM model, and try to upload it to see how this works within the platform, because a large part of Dalux is this connection between the BIM model and all the other functions that are out in the construction site, because there are there are so many other things than the BIM model that are happening out there.
Yeah, that's true. What can you tell me about the price?
I cannot tell you much about the price. The prices are based on the projects that people want to use the platform for.
Okay, so you don't have prices on your page, right? So if somebody wants to use it, they need to contact you, go through have some meetings, and see and make them an offer, right?
Yeah, so absolutely, if they're interested, just ask for the price, and it's not like we won't give you a price, but it is based on the project. Yeah,
Okay, and it has something to do with the how big the team is, or
it has something to do with the size of the project.
only project. Doesn't
Yeah.
you don't have a limit for users?
No, we have unlimited users. Yeah.
Okay. What else can I ask you? You said that Norway is quite popular in Norway. Uh, is Norway are there most of the customers, like is Norway in the forefront? Is Norway the most using the most like the biggest customer, the biggest country as a customer for you?
No, I don't think Norway is the biggest customer, or I actually know that Norway isn't the biggest customer. We have larger, or we have more customers in other countries, and I think right now we have customers all over the world. We have people using our platform um, in Hong Kong and in Canada, in all over Europe. There are really many countries that are already using Dalux in Europe, and yeah, we're of course trying to make sure, just as I said earlier, to start small and scale up,
Mm-hmm.
and for a lot of customers, it's important to try it out before they get
Yeah,
too big, right?
yeah, sure. Uh, Max and Roses says that Dalux is quite popular in France, for example. So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, France is a big country.
France is definitely a big country, and we do have some very large clients in France. That is true.
Yeah, how that is a bit interesting because last time I checked, there were some challenges because by regulations, it's still like drawings, the physical drawings are still a requirement. How do you have any idea how this becomes efficient to do it? Or have the authorities begun to accept other kind of documentation than just paper based?
I think there are some places that are more progressive than others, but we see that Norway, Denmark, Sweden, they're quite far ahead when it comes to BIM, and that they're also more open uh, to trying out the paperless and also drawingless construction sites. But that is, I would call it disruptive when it comes to working with BIM.
Mhm. Nice. We get one question from Tristan LEC. Hi, are the IFC properties impacted once a task is validated? Like, for example, if I change the color of my wall, will the IFC be modified?
So if you change, you would have to change the model. If you update your model and okay, let's start over. You create a task, you create a deviation, or you create a checklist,
Yeah.
and in this checklist you connect it to a wall, and then you close this checklist or this task, and let's keep it a checklist. So you close the checklist, and you say that now I'm finished with it. When you then update your model, nothing is going to happen to your previous information. So we're not going to update the information. But if you continue working with the checklist, then you will also amend or change the properties within that checklist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't think there are not too many tools that are actually modifying IFC file. So I don't think is the case here as well.
No,
Uh,
okay. I misunderstood the question. Okay, I understand. Yeah, so it doesn't modify the file. We don't modify
yeah,
anything. We just add metadata to it.
yeah. Yeah, so this was it makes sense. If you want to modify properties in IFC file, you should use Blender BIM. That tool is very good for this purpose, and it's open source and free. Yeah. Yeah, so Europe is big. What about US?
In the US, I don't think we have any clients in the US currently. We've had some clients before, but we do have some clients in Canada. So we're having some projects over there.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of a different way of working with construction in the US, and one of the things that I have seen is that they have a wider use of DWGs than they use IFCs, meaning that a DWG is of course a drawing in this sense, and an IFC is a model. So the issue there is that if you want to use a BIM platform, it is also beneficial to have a BIM model in the first place.
Tell me something about some feedback from your customers. Something memorable that you can remember. What did they say about how Dalux helped them change, or helped them through the journey towards digitization?
Yeah. So to our customers, I think it has been important that that we follow them. We do follow-ups, and we make sure that we're always available. And they have one person assigned that they can talk to and they can ask questions, because as I mentioned earlier, it is not always easy to know what the outcome of the data input will be. So if you create a certain template within Dalux, then that template might be too complicated to use for the construction worker, although it contains the information that the C-level, the CEO or the safety responsible in the company is missing. So that's why I think that a lot of the customers appreciate that we have this way of communicating with them and always keeping in touch with our customers, but also that we're constantly developing. A huge part of Dalux is to continuously develop the platform, make sure that we're always on top of our game.
Yes. Could you name the open source free software to modify IFC again? Yes, I can type it. But anyway, you can see if you follow my YouTube channel, BIMvoice, you will see many videos about this, and I do a monthly live stream with Dion Molt, who is the main developer of Blender BIM. So yeah, you can learn a lot. I have a playlist with Blender BIM on my channel. Blender BIM add-on, it's called. Yeah, sorry for this, editor. Yes. What can I say? Thank you very much. It's very nice to see projects that are trying to have an impact in our industry, and especially towards digitization or digitization or digitalization. I don't know what is correct. But it's very nice and inspiring, and it's very nice that we find people that are interested to try these projects and to try to move forward, to move from the old ways. So yes, thank you very much, Ole Petter, for sharing this to me. But before we say hello, if somebody wants to contact you directly, how can somebody reach out to you?
So they can write me an email on opj@dalux.com, and then I will try to answer your emails.
in case they missed, I'll put that in the description of the episode after I publish this on YouTube, which is going to happen tomorrow, maybe, or today later. I'm not sure yet. Depends when I manage to finish it. But I guess if somebody goes to dalux.com and they go to contact or some place, they can find you in any place right there, or
they can also just write an email to our support at dalux.com, and I can assure you that they will. The email will find its way to me.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, there is one more thing that I forgot to ask about. Are there any materials where people can learn more about how the platform is practically used? If I remember correctly, you are running some webinars ongoing. Is that true?
Absolutely. So on our website, you can go to webinars, and you can see webinars there. On Monday, I'm having a webinar for Dalux Box, our common data environment in Norwegian. But there are always new webinars about different types of different parts of our software. And they're also in different languages. Another thing that is absolutely worth mentioning is that we also have this free BIM viewer. So you can start out by trying the free BIM viewer, where you can upload your IFC models and you can connect them with drawings. So PDF drawings can be embedded into the IFC model. And I think that is a good starting point. And if that seems to work, then go ahead, contact us after that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Do you, by the way, have a YouTube channel? Dalux has a YouTube channel, maybe, where you put...
We do also have a YouTube channel, yeah. You can follow the Dalux YouTube channel, then you'll see all the cool stuff that we develop and also release.
Yeah, that sounds good. Before I say goodbye, actually, maybe I forgot about something that you want to share and that you feel that is important to share. Please let me know.
I think that I think that I've said what I wanted to say, and I'm really happy to hear from you guys out there. So please let me know if there's anything I can help with.
Look here, we have a good feedback. William Vevang. We are using Dalux FM for facility management on Powerhouse Telemark in Norway, and I can highly recommend Dalux FM. Yeah, that's good to hear. Thank you, William.
Yeah. Thank you.
And thank you very much, Ole Peter. It was very nice to talk to you, and we stay in touch. And
we will. Absolutely.
Have a nice day.
Thank you, Petru.
And have a nice day, everybody.
Bye-bye.